On a cold 43-degree night, this is one way to stay warm. However, in the backcountry, you don't always have the option to create a fire, and in fact, don't often need to because you can use a camp stove. So I'm going to share some ways that you can stay warm while you're out camping in the backcountry, other than creating a fire. For the most part, we stayed nice and warm last night. It wasn't until just a couple hours before daybreak that my feet started to get cold. And so in addition to having a fire that worked out really well this time, if you happen to have the opportunity in the backcountry, I want to show you some other ways you can stay nice and warm and what I did to stay warm. One is when you are in camp, so you are hiking all day, you had your hiking clothes on, you should always pack at least 2 pairs of clothes so that you can hike in one and then you can also wear one while you sleep, because when you're hiking you start to sweat, you get moisture. That moisture is going to make you cold during the middle of the night. So have an extra set of clothes, so hiking clothes, and then what you're wearing while you're sleeping. The other way to stay warm is before you go to bed. If you're already feeling cold, you don't have anything to warm up yourself in a sleeping bag. The way the sleeping bag works, and we already talked about how the temperature rating works, but the way the sleeping bag works is that it has material, either down or a synthetic fill. This one happens to be down, and your body heats it up, and that heat is trapped inside the air pockets inside your sleeping bag, and that's what keeps you warm. So if you come to bed and you're already feeling cold, how are you supposed to warm up your sleeping bag? It's kind of difficult. So before I went into my tent last night, I jumped up and down. You can do jumping jacks, whatever you want, run around, but get your heart rate up a little bit so that you have heat coming off your body that's going to then warm up the inside of your sleeping bag and help keep you warm. Another way, we didn't happen to do this last night, but I'll show you how to do it, is if it's nice and cold out and you have a trustworthy water bottle that you can use, Nagle is a good one that is always good, then you can go ahead and boil water, put it in the Nagle, and go ahead and tuck it in the bottom of your sleeping bag, and oh, it feels really nice on your toes and it heats it up in addition to you running around. The other way to stay warm if you start to get cold in the middle of the night is to use your nice sleeping bag. So your sleeping bag is going to have a hood and a drawstring, and you are going to look a little bit like a mummy. So you're going to get situated in here, and of course wearing a hat to bed works really well. So you're going to be nice situated, zip it up, and then you're going to pull this nice and tight from the inside. And of course there's going to be a hole, and most people think they want that hole to go on the top of their head because they don't want to get their nose and their mouth very cold. They don't want to get their nose and their mouth outside because it feels cold when you breathe. However, when you're sleeping, you want it to look like this, because when you are breathing, you're releasing moisture. And we talked about with your clothes that moisture is going to make it wet inside, which is going to make you colder. Moisture makes you cold. So this is how you should sleep to stay nice and warm when it's really cold. Thankfully, it didn't get quite that cold last night, so we didn't have to do it. The last way to make sure you stay nice and warm, and people don't want to really have to do this, but if you drank a lot last night, and we're talking staying hydrated, drinking a lot, if you're doing that and you get up in the middle of the night and you really have to go to the bathroom, we've all done, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go pee, but it's dark out, I don't want to get out of my tent. If you're feeling cold, take up the courage, grab your headlamp, go out, use the restroom. Because when you are sleeping and your body has to go to the restroom, your body's focused on keeping what's inside you warm instead of your whole body warm, and you're going to sleep a lot colder. So get up, go to the restroom, come back in, and you're going to sleep a lot warmer. So hopefully all of these tips will help you stay nice and warm on your next backpacking excursion.